When I think about what it feels like to sit down and read a text that has not been read or has been barely read, or maybe was read closely 1,000 years ago and has not been since then, to not know what you're going to find, I think that's part of it, is you just don't know what the story is going to be. I study Syriac Christianity in its formative years, which would be roughly 4th through the 7th centuries. Syriac was a language dialect of Aramaic, which is the language Jesus spoke. Syriac is the word to refer to that dialect as it was spoken east of Palestine. Within that, I study specifically poetry. Poetry sits right at the heart of Syriac Christian culture from its very beginnings. It's unlike anything we have in Greek Christianity, in Latin Christianity. Syriac poetry is and was musical. The poems had melodies which seem to have been quite catchy. It's like the original Christian rock. The poems that were written were often sung by women's choirs. It had interesting and important ramifications for gender. The Syriac Christians developed roles for women that Greek and Latin Christians didn't have to the same extent. So the office of deaconesses, a female deacon, was a prevalent part of Syriac Christianity, and the primary role for deaconesses was to sing the hymns. So even if a hymn might have been written by a man, it was experienced by the audience through the voice of a woman. I am working on a collection of poems from the 4th through the 6th centuries that arose in the cult of the saints. How it looks similar to or different from the cult of the saints to the West has rarely been studied, and that's because so much of the literature is unexplored. They don't tell us, except in small snippets, why they're writing poetry, so we kind of have to do the guesswork by burrowing into the literature itself. Many of the texts are unedited. Some of those that are edited, meaning they're available in some kind of print edition, are still not translated. Oftentimes, being the first person to get to do that, or one of a handful of people, is very, very energizing. Part of what's happening is a cautious, humble, joyful bridge building between two worlds, and trying to give a voice to a world that is not going to assert its own voice because it doesn't have the tools to do that, and doing it with humility, with good manners, and with real joy, the real joy of discovery. That's really what I want my students to do too. When I think of sort of why I wanted to come to Notre Dame, it is this unique balancing of religious commitment and that coupled with an equal commitment to the humanities. I think in the contemporary American university, that is where theology is often at its most compelling, when it sees itself not as somehow utterly distinct from the humanities, but as a still distinct but integrated part of the humanities. And Notre Dame does that so well.